Get your dice.
Also, Athy saying mice, and I was like, oh, that sounds like dice. So I
Well.
grabbed mine.
At least there wasn't some giant flip out this time.
But I love the giant, like... I just launched a screw out of my dice box. Whoops.
Okay, give me a second here.
No.
That's certainly a way to open an episode. Hi, Internet.
Hello, world.
Dick jokes. Hi, Internet.
Dice! That's how we're gonna have to
Good night,
open
Internet.
every game now.
I'm glad I put you. That's it. That's the whole episode.
That's all, folks.
All right. Let's bring it in. I know we're all having fun here. Let's bring this. We have some serious topics to discuss.
We're not
in this
allowed to have
fantasy
fun.
role-playing game.
Do you have to roll percentiles to see if anyone who slept with a prostitute has an STD?
So that would be one of us. I think.
Technically, too.
Technically, too. Okay.
One of them doubled up.
Listen. My woman is healthy and she is thriving.
And your man?
Also healthy and thriving, but not a sex worker.
They don't know that.
Nope. For
Oh,
sure
yeah,
doesn't
fair.
even really fully understand it.
Go along, buddy.
Okay, so bringing it in, you all were traveling southward from Hanbrook to Corvash, leaving the Kingdom of Dimladar for the Neville capital, Corethan. Along the way, it rained a lot,
Then some more.
then some more rain, and then you all met a god, briefly, from a distance.
S'more.
What?
Run that back real
I
quick.
said, s'more, like s'mores. You know, marshmallows, chocolate, graham crackers.
Yes, gods and s'mores.
You said some more and it sounded like s'more. I'm gonna shut up.
Ah,
Just go away.
So it's gonna bring me to drink. I already feel it.
Last
I am
episode
great.
brought all the characters to drink. There was some existential crises.
There
And,
were a couple of existential crises.
True.
And then
Be
there was
specific.
booze.
I am sorry for derailing. My apologies with my mishearing.
So you all arrived in the city of Corvash, a large, double fan-shaped city that's made up of numerous canals that all lead into a central point, a central tower, the casino within Corvash. You all didn't have much time to look around as your cart was directed very quickly towards a brothel.
And no one complained.
And not one of you complained.
I don't understand culture.
I'm a great tour guide.
I think Artoria had a moment of possible complaint, but that changed rather quickly.
Fast.
After they
You
went to
all
bed
had
with an
drinks.
incubus.
You got various services. Arcs took a walkabout. And you're all just waking up in various states of hungover. Vishtara, you have the headache of the gods.
Hmm.
Artoria,
Hmm.
same thing.
I remember two things that happened the night before, and I'm not sure if either of them actually happened.
Your escort hit it and quit it, not wanting to wake up next to the Paladin.
That could have been awkward.
Fair.
Rustlin, you awaken to not being able to breathe.
Uh-oh.
And that is because as you awaken and lift what you thought was a pillow, you lift your halfling partner off of your face.
Seems about right.
Time to get up for morning beer.
Prudence, you wake up. Martin's already awake next to you, just kind of scrolling through his book.
Scrolling.
It's a Kindle.
No, you're actually watching him as he holds the book. He places his hand on a page, pulls it up, and the symbols that are on the book extend off the pages and kind of float in front of him. And he
Fancy.
swipes his hand, and the page turns, and the next symbols appear.
Fantasy Kindle.
Hype.
She's not really like the book person, but that's cool. She's just gonna kind of like sleepily, lazily like drape on him and just kind of like watch what he's doing, tail flicking lazily about. Not in any hurry to like get up right now.
You receive a kiss on the head, and he goes back to just reading through his book. And he stops and he looks down at you. and he goes back to reading his book. You all are going to have some time getting used to the desert.
Well, I don't think any of us have ever been there, and I hear it's very hot.
It is incredibly hot. We will be fine. Your friends will melt. I mean more about your appearances.
Including me?
Mostly you, darling.
And then she'll sit up. Why?
Because you are always covered in grease and dirt.
She looks down at herself. And just does nobody fix things where you're from?
There is a... How do I explain this? There is a dress code where we will be going.
And then like folds her arms and raises her brow.
He takes his hand and he puts the book in his lap and he holds his hand out and he creates a minor illusion of a hobgoblin. And they're wearing this very billowing shirt, long sleeves that come to like ruffled ends, very like beautifully colored silk pants, and very nice shoes. The hobgoblins are a militaristic lot, and that extends into their everyday life. Everyone must be clean. Everyone must be presentable. It is important to them. To be in public and be a mess is an offense.
Right? Just kind of like murmurs, but she's like, I could be presentable. Though, like, she clearly knows that, like, no, she doesn't present well. We'll figure it
While
out
I
when we
may
get...
find the dirt under the fingernails attractive, most people will find it very offensive. He moves his hand and the image changes to a female hobgoblin wearing this very lovely, kind of form-fitting at the chest and stomach, and then billows out silken dress.
But not everyone can dress that way, right?
Well,
Like, there's nobles, and then there's the people that do the everything else.
you'll be surprised.
How does anyone get everything done if they can't get a little bit dirty?
They get dirty in the privacy of back rooms.
That is so stupid.
It is, and yet I do not want to argue with them.
Mm. Can you teach me that spell that makes things clean?
I will try.
Because she will likely need that constantly.
As you're all waking up and settling into your various morning routines, all of your cards start to vibrate.
Oh?
Prue's gonna leave hers where it is, and just like kind of like lean over and look at Artorias.
You're all gathered at this point.
I assume it is.
I forget,
Take a
did
look.
Martin get one too?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
The only one now without one in the party is Arx.
Yeah, so she'll like put her chin on Artoria's shoulder and just kind of like peer over, kind of like bonk her in the head with her horn by accident at the same time, likely. Like, what's going on?
Artoria is probably in full plate and just like
Bong.
very, very serious. Just. Oh, good, something to do.
What's wrong?
Hmm?
What's wrong?
Nothing, and she like hides her face a little bit. Her eyes are very, like, kind of baggy. She just looks rough. Not like super duper awful, but
Like she was gonna poke her about it, but she'll like hesitate and approach her later. But what's up with the card?
right. And then she'll look into it. Oh, my name's still Grayson on Discord. I just realized. Fuck.
You done goofed.
I have many notifications. Okay. So you all look at your card, and normally when you receive a bounty on these cards, there's information written about what you're supposed to be hunting. There's not in this case. All the card says is sea contractor, and then under that is the name Avarice Thrall. And then under that it says inquire details within.
Looking around to everyone else, is this what normally happens?
The buzzing, yes. And she's gonna look over at Martin. Isn't this your ex-boy
Yes,
toy
it
over there?
is. Yes, it is.
Is he around, or do we have to go?
You do not see him, which is strange because he invited you to breakfast.
Hopefully, he isn't into any trouble.
Well, these cards tend to mean there's trouble that needs fixing.
Something to hunt?
Usually.
Typically.
We should find him as soon as possible then.
Agreed.
Are we in
But
like
first-
a dining hall area, or like since we were invited, are we somewhere special?
You are in the main kitchen, like the main tavern on the first floor, just eating. You see a couple of other patrons down eating as well. Some of them are entertaining guests, some are not.
Is the same incubus working down there?
No.
Okay.
There is a dwarven woman who's sitting at the bar, looking a bit frazzled.
Like just stressed from work, frazzled, or like
Roll an insight check.
16.
Natural one. She looks distraught and nervous and scared.
Artoria will
She's
kind of like
smiling at patrons and waving. And every time someone's not looking at her, she's turning around and like fiddling with something around her wrist. And she's just very cautiously staring out from the bar at the rooms that lead upstairs.
Artoria will get everyone's attention and just kind of nod in the direction of the woman. Something's up.
Time to go
Ruslin's
find
just
out.
not paying any attention.
Yeah.
It's time to go find out. So
Mhm.
she'll give a look to Artoria and Martin, like
Rustlin,
stand up.
As you're eating, two bouncers walk over to all of your table.
Mm.
And they lean over to your half-orc companion and whisper in her ear, and she immediately goes wide-eyed and looks over to you all. I need to go. And she stands up, and they take her by both arms and start leading her away.
Ruslin is instantly up and following, like, what the fuck?
The two take her into a back room and then turn and then put a hand up. One of them is a human, and he stops you. We need to bring her to the back. We need everyone accounted for. Please. And by that, the door shuts.
Artoria looks back to Prudence like, we need to go talk with her now. And again,
Yep.
nod at the dwarf.
Is the halfling here too? I don't remember
Yes,
their
and
names.
he's looking wildly concerned.
Not like he knows what's going on. So up and over and heading over to the bar where the dwarf is. And hello, madam.
Oh, good day. How can I help you?
Is everything all right?
Everything is just fine. Don't you worry. Enjoy your breakfast.
Artoria just kind of stares, looks her up and down a bit, like, nah.
Well, we just got it like quietly. Like, are you sure? We haven't seen Avarice around.
Roll a persuasion check.
What is my what is persuasion? 16?
The woman nods her head. Everything is fine. If you be needing anything, there's a back office just along the way. They should have everything you need.
And
And she motions to that same wall that you saw the other day, the other night, Avarice walked through.
thank you very much. And she'll motion for Artoria to follow.
Artoria will look a bit confused, but follow, assuming something is happening.
Prudence is gonna confidently head right for the wall.
What good will an office do us?
Offices, if they're not empty of people, tend to have information.
Ah,
As you go behind the desk, and at this point, the rest of you are following, I assume.
Yeah, I am.
Nope, Arx is still working on his breakfast.
I actually want to
Leaving
have
the
a.
door.
I want to have a conversation with Martin.
Martin is up and following those two because he's now
Okay.
looking for us.
And I'm following as well.
So as you two get through the counter, you walk and you pass to the wall, and you see it leads into a hallway. And you can already hear voices. Like the moment you pass by this illusionary wall, you start to hear voices coming from behind.
Artoria will come to a stop pretty quickly because if they want to do this quietly, Artoria existing is noise. So she'll like stop and give Prudence a look and like raise an eyebrow.
Do any of the voices sound like Avarice?
Roll a perception check.
She doesn't know.
I'll give it a shot. Nope.
Physical
Mm. If for a penny and for a pound.
Oh, that's a fucking 9 plus 11.
26. Woo.
Not terribly hard. Prudence, you're a little bit like you're looking at the wall going, well, it blocks sound too. That's interesting. The rest of you, Martin, Vistara, Gregor, and Artoria, you all hear Avarice being very not subtle.
Oh.
You hear, don't care. Get everyone in the back. I don't care if they're taking clients now or not. Get everyone in the back. I want to know how this fucking happened. And you hear another voice. Sir, please calm down. We're getting everyone as you speak. This is unbelievable. How did this happen? How could someone have walked in here with that? Sir, I'm not done talking! And all the voices go silent.
At this point, Artoria will start walking again.
Vistaro's following.
I'm
and Shadow
following.
close behind.
We have done everything in our power to make sure that everyone here is safe and nothing like this ever happens. So how did they walk in here with that damned dagger? and then he turns as he sees you guys around the corner. How the fuck? God damn it! Throws a book across his desk that's in this large room that many people are assembled in.
It would seem there is at least one issue at hand.
How did you all get back in here?
Walked.
Better question, why are you back in here?
Holds up tablet. You're supposed to be an employer.
Oh,
Apparently.
thank fuck you all are useful. And as you see, the other people in the room are bouncers and escorts from the vicinity, and a lot of the bouncers have their heads like down and to the left or right, hiding themselves. The
So, what are we hunting?
purple skinned tiefling just kind of like sighs and sits down. The rest of you go, 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 go. Make sure everyone else is accounted for and safe. The group that he has been kind of berating is like starts to funnel out very quickly. He sits down and leans back. In, all of you, now. He
I'm not
waves his
gonna-
hand. He
Here we
waves
go.
his hand, and a bunch of chairs from all across the room all pull in front of the desk. Sit.
Or take a seat. Yeah.
He brings his other hand up, and glasses enough for all of you are placed down, and he just starts using Mage Hand to pour you all drinks. It's about 8 in the morning.
Drinks it happily.
There's now
Artoria
whiskey in front of all of
winces at-
you. Let me see your
So-
cards. Let me see them.
I had mine.
Yep, show card.
Prudence is gonna look up at Martin before she'll make kind of
Martin
like
just nods. Don't worry. He won't care.
and then she'll take out hers.
Fishtar will, kind of confused, hand it over while he's enjoying his breakfast drink.
Artoria's gonna divine sense real fast. And just take a quick look around as she's getting her card out.
Tiefling, tiefling, tiefling. Undead.
I assume from Gregor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You get a hint of fiend, not from in the room, but just outside the door.
Okay.
Succubus.
Right.
your
I
friend
know
from
I
the
know
night
there's
before.
I know there's succubi and incubi here. Okay.
In fact, one of the guards you saw, now that you think about it, was not human. You saw wings. Where are the rest of you? You had more. Where's the rest of them? Where's the shapeshifter? Where's the cowman?
To be fair, Arcs appeared human pretty much ever since coming to the city.
He knows what you are.
Ho ho ho.
Ox
A lot of
is
purposes.
I still believe was Arx there at the breakfast table with them?
Yeah, he was eating.
Okay. Ox is and did you come in with us or are you still just big chillin'?
Nope, he's still at the table eating.
Good. Ox
He
is
doesn't have a card. He doesn't care.
Ox is still at the table, but he's not affiliated with the Monster Hunter Guild, and Russelin is half scared to death from his beloved fiancée being suddenly taken and pulled away.
Fair. Jameson, get the cowman.
At least call him by his name that I just said.
I'm a little preoccupied with the murder that happened in my establishment, so you'll forgive me if I don't give a shit what his name is.
Temporarily forgiven.
What a.
He rubs his bridge with his nose and places his hand on the ground and lifts, and he does a similar spell to what you just saw this morning, Prudence. Casts a minor illusion. This is Jasmine. That's her choice of names. And what you see is a succubi. A little image of a succubus.
Is it the same succubus from outside that we saw first when we first entered?
She is a good worker. She has never had a single complaint from any of her customers. She worked bar almost every night. Last night, where I gave her the night off. She is one of my first fiend employees. And this morning, we found her as a corpse.
You were saying something about a dagger?
We haven't moved it. We haven't moved anything. We haven't touched anything. We haven't done anything because no one wants to step foot in that blasted room. At this point, Rustlin, as you're pacing, the door opens and a large Goliath man steps through.
Yes,
He-
where's Null?
You need to come with me. And he opens the door for you, and you're walked through, and eventually led into the same office all your friends are.
Right.
Right, good. Cow, Rustlin, sit. Then he moves another chair in for you.
Rustin is still currently carrying Vigor. And we'll just kind of like glare a bit and then just full body drop into the chair.
Right. Snaps his fingers, and all of you feel your card buzz again.
Check the card.
Yeah, take a peek
Take
at
the
it.
card.
Yeah, this time I'll take it out and hold it in front of me so Vigor sees a blank card.
Mm-hmm. One of my best girls was murdered. And I want to know how, and I want to know why.
Well, it sounds like whoever did it knew what they were doing.
And has a particular hate for fiends.
Just
Why wouldn't
kind
they
of
want to go back to their home plane?
side eye over to Artoria.
Wait, did you say you were staring at me? Sorry.
Just got side eye over to you, given your reaction to the succubi the day before at the door.
I have no quarrel with fiends that mean no wrongdoing. I have quarrel with the misuse of necromancy.
Shrugs. I don't really get any of this. But if there's someone to kill or something to hunt, I am happy to do so.
Not kill. I want him alive. I want him brought before me so I can find out how he did this. There are 17 different arcane sigils written on the front door, the back door, and every other entrance to this place. Anything could have done this. We know about. In fact, we know every single person that walks in this building. We know what they are and how they got in. So someone got in, fully armored, with ritualistic daggers, with the means to perform this ritual, murdered one of my women, and then walked out. Want to know how?
Would your spells have gone off if the person was brought in secretly?
There shouldn't be a way to get in secretly.
She kind of gestures at her bag of holding, something like this. Say if they had a little pocket dimension they could go hide in. Once they pop out, would you know they were here?
It depends on where they popped out. The rooms themselves aren't riddled with scrying magic for obvious reasons.
Theoretically, in her room.
Someone would have to. Her room is on the second floor. Back, my employees will show you where. Please, figure out how this happened. Find the bastard. Bring him to me so I may flay him alive.
Very well.
Do I presume you keep any sort of log of who sees who and when?
Yes.
That may be important, at least for people to go speak with. And I know you say nobody's ever had issues with her, but it's somewhere to start.
Manny can help you. There's a human man, tall, dark hair, scar across his left cheek. He'll be in the back. He's one of our bookkeepers. He's good looking, but he's not useful for sex work, but he's good for book work. Just ask him.
Could you show us to the room?
He'll show you.
Right, let's get started. He's just gonna
The rest of
immediately
my
jump up.
employees, and he looks to you, Rustlin, are being kept in the back where all of my guards can watch over him until you have any sort of reason to say that this won't happen.
There's just a nod.
We'll do everything we can.
Severely hope so. Only just got people starting to trust my workers here. Murder is going to start so many different types of riots. Go, please. I have to go speak with the gods. I don't want to speak to the gods. He stands up and flicks his wrist, and the door behind you that you entered through, Rustlin, opens.
Avarice, I'm sorry for your loss. We'll see that justice is done.
He nods at you and he flips open his own book to a spell and then traces a symbol in the air and starts muttering to himself, kind of facing the wall.
You should get on it.
Mhm.
So we have a
Yeah, good.
we have the choice of either going to see the room or going to talk to the bookkeeper.
I think the bookkeeper was going to show us to the room, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was like a double whammy.
All right.
So you all head out of the room, heading through the back, and you can see that ping you got, that fiendish ping you got. As you step out of the room, there is a succubus standing in armor with a sword, guarding the door alongside another human man.
Gotcha.
And they both kind of nod at you. It's actually not a succubus, an incubus is standing fully armored, and the incubus is actually the one. Follow me, and he leads you into the back. And as you get into the back, you can see crowded into another room. Various men and women are all kind of sat around in this large, almost like communal space, like a very large living room. All looking nervous, all whispering to each other. Most in some various form of either undress or purposefully like scantily clad clothing. Rustlin, you do see Nal, although she's in like mid-conversation with another girl, and just kind of then both are hugging each other and like just trying to figure out what happened.
Just poof, he's gone from the party again, and he's right next to her.
She turns to look up to you, and without saying any words, she just leans over and hugs you.
He's just gonna give like a massive hug. So, I heard what happened. We're gonna figure this out.
She was such a kind woman. And she just burst into tears.
And Rosen just like his big old like tough guy demeanor that was on since she got taken away is just like poof gone, and now he's just all fluff again.
The rest of you, as you're standing at just like in the precipice of this room, the guard that escorted you here has left and has gone over to one of the men who are sitting around. Smaller gentleman, maybe about 5'6", in a rather nice suit, dark skin, dark tan skin, jet black hair that's slicked back all the way to his shoulders. Gets up and walks over to you. Just extends his hand. My name is Manny. I take care of the bookkeeping here.
Prue will step up and take his hand and I'm sure this is rough on everyone, but if you could show us the room.
Right, and here. And he takes out, he actually reaches into his coat and he pulls out a book. It's a small leather-bound tome. The size of like a journal. This was Jasmine's record of employ. And he just walks through you guys and starts heading up a staircase through to all of your left.
I go to follow.
Rustlin and Vigor is just gonna talk for a moment before heading to the party. Vigor, would you mind staying?
I'm going
with...
to stay with her, don't worry. You take care of this.
Thank you. Get this squared up real quick.
Gives you a kiss on the cheek and then hops down and just joins. You head off to chase after your party.
and like as soon as Rustlin's back turns to them, he's instantly like very serious, no hint of the usual Rustlin. He's just he's ready to instantly hop into gear.
Mhm. You're all led up to the second floor, and as you started to realize last night, and a lot of the rooms that the employees use are their own personal rooms as well. Manny leads you to a particular room and stops at the door and like lifts his head up and takes a deep breath in before turning to it and opening it. This was Jasmine's room.
And they said no one's gone in there, supposedly.
No one. We found her this morning. Just guards doing their usual checkups, making sure that everyone had a safe night. You know how it is. And when they knocked on her door and they got no reply, well, one of them went in and found her torn asunder. He opens the door and it swings open, and it is a mess.
Like,
Is there like a body?
There is 4 pieces of a body.
Oh.
Is there a
Everyone
head?
roll an perception check who is there.
Do my face.
Payton, this is serious hour.
21.
Someone's
21 as
died.
well.
There were any
Uh,
d20s on top.
20. Not natural.
Oh, that's a kind of high number. 15.
24 for Vixtara, 22 for Moonshadow.
Martin rolled a 14. So you all. The room is tossed. The 2 nightstands that are on either side of the bed are knocked over. There's a lantern that's shattered, and in the corner, oil is just formed a puddle on the ground. The carpet is pushed aside and flopped over itself and covered in blood. The bed is thrown off, and the mattress is thrown off the bed and off to the side. 2 of the 4 posts of the bed are broken.
Are these rooms soundproofed? Like, Prudence is just looking around at the mess, like... How did nobody hear this?
They're soundproof to a degree for the privacy of customers, but don't know. This shouldn't happen. They're not. No one wants to hear the neighbor getting it on. Takes you out of your own involvement, but a fight is something that people hear.
How big is the room?
It is it's fairly large for a tavern room or an inn room. Probably 20 by 30 feet. As you look around, looking beyond the devastation, there are runes carved into all 4 walls. And then on the ceiling as well, these runes are carved into the ceiling.
Does it look like she had been restrained?
You'd have to go investigate in the room. The body itself is cloven in two and then divided in half.
Can we tell what's caused the wounds? Like, were they weapons, claw marks,
Roll
purely ripped?
a medicine check.
Prudence
Can I
will
also?
Prudence will go in if she's not stopped. Just kind of like shoving down the reality of the situation and just focusing on what needs to be focused on. She wants to investigate to see if it looks like she'd been restrained in any way first.
21 for what, Ruslan?
To examine the body for cause and whatnot.
I rolled a 25. And the investigations of body parts.
Looking at the body, the wounds are strange, and the way the bones are broken through are strange. All of them look pushed out across the wounds.
Like it was ripped off, or some force from the inside was pushing out?
It looks like, and as you start to look at the body, you see that there was a large central puncture wound in the center of her form, and then the cuts were pushed out of her.
So something went in and then out all at once?
Mm-hmm.
Do I know of any creature that can do something like this?
Roll an intelligence check.
I'm gonna look at the sigils with an arcana, if that's okay. Ah, my die, come back.
I'm gonna.
I have another one. I have many other ones. I'll find that one later.
All the dice.
Natural 20 plus 8.
You're looking at the sigils?
Yeah.
I'll get to you in a moment.
Okay.
Jashtara, you don't know any creature that has the capacity to do this. Most creatures, beasts, monsters, they all, when something cuts, rips, stabs, it's through one way and out the other. This is 4 different directions of pushing out in very almost surgical precision.
No
The
beast did
lines
this.
of her body aren't jagged, they aren't wavered, they are clean.
Not cauterized, though?
No.
So there's a huge mess.
Definitely no creature I've hunted before.
Definitely
I don't think
no
any
weapon
animal
I've
could do
seen
something like
before.
this.
Prudence, as you're looking around the ruins, you see abyssal, you see draconic, you see infernal, you see fey markings. You see magical symbols from almost every creed you can think of, all carved into this wall, all carved into the ceiling.
Even corn?
Are they... Can she figure out, even with like a, just...
And they're all bullshit.
So it just looks like someone drew bullshit all over the place.
As you're
Okay.
looking at the walls, and you're looking around, and none of the symbols match. None of them make sense. They don't form a pattern. They do not form an arcane... They don't form arcane equations. They're just someone picked symbols from almost every religion and practice of magic and put them on these walls.
Okay, so she could read a couple of those, or they're just random, nothing that means anything.
Like, you see draconic for, like, napkin.
Okay, so, like, she's standing there and she's looking around, and she just points at all the stuff. That is all bullshit. So that is meant to be a distraction. Martin, can you just, in case I'm missing something, but I really don't think though, this
Martin just
all
steps
looks like complete bullshit.
Martin steps forward and opens his book and flips to the page. Idraktil. And he casts the spell. Son of a bitch. And he walks into the room and stomps on the floor. And then moves a little bit and then stomps on another part of the floor. And you hear a hollow.
Well,
Artoria, Vistara, if you would please.
Smash.
Yep. Steel toe or steel entire boot from our plate armor.
Oh, full greatsword, and also getting Moonshadow to and just
a
look over to
well,
Moonshadow.
I mean,
Claw or dig.
Both of you roll
Yeah,
strength
dig.
checks.
I mean,
That is a
there's
better one.
probably a. Okay.
Yeah. He has very two specific characters to do this.
Yes, he did.
I'm just gonna watch it horror.
Ugh.
You both lean down and grab the floor and just
Oh, Moonshadow.
and you yank floorboard after floorboard off the ground, just breaking them off at this point, tossing them to the side, and you see underneath the floor, in the cement that makes up the flooring, because the floor is just decorative. In the stone itself are more carved ruins, and Prudence, as you look at these make sense. These are symbols that make sense to you.
What do they make sense about?
These are infernal.
She could read those. What is it programmed to do?
It's in C++.
These are symbols designed to prevent a soul from escaping to a different plane.
Spirit very well still be here.
They wanted
As
her.
Paladin of Raven Queen, would I have any knowledge of like what would happen to a soul, specifically the soul of a fiend that wouldn't be able to return? That's kind of out of Artoria's knowledge, like area of expertise, but
it is a little bit out
soul.
of your area of expertise. However, the thought of this pisses you right the fuck off, Artoria.
Oh yeah.
Because you, as someone who tests rogue necromancy, understands the value of a soul.
And if it didn't go back to where it's supposed to be, then it's possible that somebody has it.
It's somewhere else.
As you look over this, and as Prudence explains this, and as you look it over yourself, okay.
Yes.
Sorry, I've been trying to figure out when I can say that, but
okay. This is gonna be interesting. As you're looking over the language and Prudence is explaining to you, Artoria, this is this is used by necromancers to bind souls out of living people, so that they can be captured into crystals.
Souls are very powerful.
Artoria is very obviously very angry as you like finish explaining this, Prudence.
Gregor isn't too happy either.
Yeah.
Roslyn, you have to pull the body together because her head is cut into pieces.
Ugh.
All right.
Artoria will
You
His
grin
power will help.
and you all start to put together the 4-piece jigsaw puzzle.
if
Yeah.
need be, Artoria will like hold the head together, just a very straight faced and not happy.
And you do, because you have to. And you cast the spell, and you watch the chest expand, although the air that's being pulled into it escapes through the cuts. And the eyes shift and move and look to you, Ruslin. What are your questions?
All right. Um. Hello, Jasmine. What happened last night?
I was asleep when I heard a sound coming from the edge of my bed. I couldn't move. I was stuck in place and could not move. And everything was dark. I couldn't see. All I could hear were crows.
Crows, what the fuck? All right. Don't know what else to ask with that information.
What had they done that day, perhaps? Ask her that. What had happened earlier the day? And it was anything unusual, anything along those lines.
Right. Did anything unusual happen earlier?
Avarice is a kind employer. He gave me the day off. He said I had been working too many nights and needed time for myself. We had a string of bad customers. He was worried about our well-being.
String of bad customers, that should be in the book. We can look into that.
Did whoever did this say anything?
Well, they said all they could hear was crows.
Crows.
Vishtara, Gregor, as you look around the room, giving a much more thorough sweep, you start to notice that on the things that have been knocked over and torn about, there are cuts in the wood and scratches in the pieces of metal. All in the same distinct, like, 4-spaced pattern. These little marks.
So, do they look like crows' talons?
No, it's far too spread out. And even holding your hand up to it, it's spread out more than your fingertips would be. It's very large. But they're very almost indistinguishable from, like, the material they're on. They're very small.
So not rocks. Okay.
A rock in this building would be the size of this building.
I think a
Does it
giant
look-
bird would be noticed.
Does
We
it
don't know what
look
happened.
like- Does it look like anything like we've seen different bird people in the streets as we've come in, correct?
Yes.
To my knowledge, would that similarly match one of them, like size-wise?
No, these are like very far spaced out. And they're not claw marks. The cuts are clean. They're not scratches.
But there's consistently 4 of them on everything,
There's consistently 4 of them on everything.
and there were 4 cuts in.
But not in the same way that she was cut. They're all lined up in rows. So
Right.
it looks almost like fingers were there, but the cuts are too clean.
Whoever did this has.
Mm.
Whoever did this
Have
knew
we-
exactly what they wanted.
Have we seen any weapons that look like similar, like kind of like those claw things that you hold in your fists? Have we seen anything like those around? Would that match this kind of groove size?
I think those would make a much larger groove. Those... And they'd only be about as spread as your hand can be.
Must be magic. I
As an
hate
out of
magic.
character comment, it's obviously Freddy Krueger.
Oh, yeah. Or Wolverine. Zach does like his crossbow now.
You still have 3 questions, Russell.
Yes. Okay.
Does she know anybody that particularly doesn't like her?
Or doesn't like succubi or fiends in general.
Yeah.
I
Well, in general,
feel-
that would be.
I
some-
f- souls are powerful. They obviously knew what they were doing when they came here, especially with these. They wanted a fiend soul. They wanted her soul specifically.
Hmm.
I don't think it's about hate. This is what they wanted.
You need the soul for whatever filthy magic they plan.
Who else knew that you had the night off?
Was some god. Some of the girls and the gentlemen as well. I'm sure word gets around in this small place. But doubtful anyone on the outside.
don't want to point fingers there, but it could be very possible that this was an inside job.
Yes.
But
How
I
else
don't
would
want
it
to.
there have been no alarm?
That would explain the lack of alarm. They were already in.
Everyone roll an intelligence check.
Uh-oh.
21.
3.
13.
23?
Intelligence. Oh shit. 12.
Oh shit.
Gregor and Prudence. Something's missing from this room.
What?
Avarice mentioned a dagger. You did not find one.
Dagger. The dagger.
Ah, shit, right. Like, how much time do you think is still up on the spell?
You have 10 minutes. It's been about 2.
Okay. We'll try looking around for the dagger first.
Roll an investigation check.
Do you let the rest of us know about this?
I think they said it aloud.
I said the dagger out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only reason why Ruslin's reacting.
Vistara and Munto are going to head out and start heading back to the guy who showed us up here.
Yeah, he's waiting outside the door.
Hmm.
60.
And I do my mind meld thing. And where was the dagger? We were told that there would be a dagger here.
Is it not in there? It was in the center of her pieces when we found her. It's not there.
Who else has come up here?
No one. We brought everyone away from here. We made sure that everyone was downstairs. As soon as we found her, we had everyone gather. The only ones who weren't gathered were the ones with clients, and we gathered them as soon as they were done. Hence, and he just kind of points at Rustlin.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Didn't want to alarm anyone, but no one's been in here.
Hmm. Formulating ideas.
So,
Well-
did we see anything with our rolls?
I'm letting him get through his conversation because you're currently mulling through the room as he's speaking.
Ah, I understand.
Yeah, I'm currently kind of having a mind fart right now, so go do their thing while I'm thinking.
You guys tear through the room again, and you start like lifting things and trying to see if anywhere this thing could be. It's gone. The only sign that there was a dagger in this room is that one of the pieces of wood that Artoria ripped up has a puncture in it from a bladed object.
Looking
Damn
at,
it.
looking at the floor and how they ripped it up, like it didn't look like it would have been easy to lift up the floor, because I mean that was under the floor, like all the stuff was under the floorboards. So that had to happen at some point somehow without anyone knowing. So either like how long did he say like he's only had this place for a year or so? Something like that?
Yeah, he's had this place for 2 years.
So either that was put there when they built this room, or
Or it's someone who's trusted to be in this place.
yeah, but they would have had to lift the floor, take out the floor, do this, put it back.
Or they reached through it.
Magic works in weird ways.
I hate
I
magic.
am having a strong sense that my understudy forgot the ethereal.
Prudence just kind of rolls her eyes, like, eh.
Okay.
But that's still not this realm, technically.
There are magics that let one pass between the ethereal plane and the physical one.
That sounds like incredibly powerful and complicated magic.
It is, even I can't do it that precisely.
I hate magic.
I
Star's
agree.
gonna start taking some deep sniffing breaths and just for Moonshot to do the same, and then he's gonna head out. He's going to start sniffing around all the employees, trying to smell the similar sort of demonic blood. Maybe it might still be on the dagger if the dagger's still on the person who is still in here. So yeah, he's
Cool.
literally going to be going around on people with Moonshadow, sniffing all of them
Well,
for this blood.
You head downstairs and all of the employees are down. So I'll get to you in a bit.
Yeah, no worries.
Artoria.
Mhm.
Do your thing. That sense everything around you thing you can do.
Yes, yes. And then, Bartel will close her eyes, focus on her surroundings, and pulse out a divine sense.
You sense an amalgamation.
Hmm.
You sense the presence of spectral. You sense infernal, of course. You also sense demonic. It's this strange combination, all twisted into
Good night.
a aberration. It's this weird melding in this room.
Just all around us, or
Yeah.
something's wrong. I didn't sense this earlier. It's just all around us. And what was it? Infernal, demonic.
It is fiendish, infernal, fiendish, demonic, aberration, monstrosity, and beast,
Yeah, she'll
and construct.
she'll say everything at first, pause, and then somehow also a construct. And do I sense that like just on the walls of the room, or just the room in its entirety?
You sense it from the room.
I don't like this at all.
Something very, very rough. And Toria looks around for the noise.
Do we all hear the thing?
Yes.
Cool, looking for it.
I'm looking for it too.
You all look up
Does-
the ceiling, and there's a crow standing on the ceiling.
By the way,
Like-
did Vishtar hear it?
No, you're downstairs sniffing.
Like standing upside down on the ceiling.
Yep, looking down at you guys.
And is it like a crow?
Yes.
Braids.
It opens one eye. It
Oh.
opens another eye.
Oh no.
It opens a third eye on its forehead.
No.
I don't like that.
Mm.
Too many eyes.
We should leave this room now.
Fucking sacred flame it. I don't believe it's actually a crow.
Roll damage.
Shit, try to get to the pharma sheet. Sacred flame 2/8. 9.
9 points of damage. You just reach up and set alight this crow. It burns and shifts to the side, almost writhing as the flame covers over it. Its beak opens wide, and you see coming from out of its throat the tip of a long, extended dagger. It turns its head all the way around and takes flight and launches itself through the window.
Can I fucking shoot it again before it's out of range?
Yes. This time, as you fire your sacred flame, the flame explodes out from the windowsill, but the crow just skims out of it and flies out of the room.
I heat metal the dagger part.
What was that?
I was gonna say I could try to heat metal the dagger part, but not sure how much that's gonna help because it's already on the inside of the thing. And
I want to
Looks
try
like
and
it's-
compel duel it as it's trying to get away.
What's the
No,
save
would
for
be
that?
awesome.
Wisdom. DC 15.
You, as the crow is leaving, it stops. Its body's almost jerked by the magic leash that you have onto it. It and spits the dagger out, and the dagger continues to fly.
I thought I had a spell for that, but I don't think I do.
Oh no, it's probably out of 30 feet. I could have mage hand the dagger.
The crow falls. And Artoria, you feel your spell fade as the creature you casted on dies.
could
And
this is
is
gonna
the
be a
dagger just,
weird
like,
use of
zooming
this
through the
spell.
sky?
I don't know if it's what's the range of this spell. 150 feet. Could she theoretically cast catapult on the dagger and have it launch itself back towards us?
You can certainly try. I'm going to ask you to make an Arcana check.
And she. Okay, Arcana check. Let's do the thing for.
This is going to be fighting the will of its owner.
Arcana check. What is my Arcana? A lot. 19.
You reach out with your hand and you try to grasp the dagger. And you watch as it stops in midair, and you feel almost like your arm is nearly pulled out of its socket as you hold onto it with your own magic. You pull and pull, and then feel your spell break as the dagger continues to fly forward.
And she pulled like right off her feet, just like. Poof.
You take
Ow.
7 points of force damage.
Ow.
as your arm was nearly pulled off of you.
We're on the ground floor, right?
No, you're on the second floor.
Fuck. Ah, good enough.
Fuck.
We can't let that dagger out of our sight.
It's going very fast and in the air.
Mm.
Oh, can't. Where's
Artoria
Andres?
will
Can't he
Somebody
fly?
start
Doesn't
to
he
get
have
up,
a
Realize that A, it's moving faster. Realize that she is also the only thing keeping body together still. It can't really move. And just kind of angrily kick at the ground, like, ah!
You're not there, Vishtara.
I know. The one time I step away.
You had one job. See what happens when you split the party, Vishtara?
I'm awkwardly sniffing people, damn it.
You are awkwardly sniffing people, and we're gonna jump to you awkwardly sniffing people.
Yes, I'm
Um,
awkwardly sniffing people for the same scent of blood.
As you, all right. First off, roll a survival check.
Since Moonshadow is helping me, can I get it with advantage?
Yes.
Well, shit.
Ooh.
It's hard for you to be in here. There's a lot of perfume and a lot of incense and a lot of there's a lot of scents that are not people smells. And it's really messing with your nose. And it's really messing with Moonshadow's nose. But you find no blood scent.
With that, I'll head back upstairs.
As you're all trying to figure out what to do, Martin leans out of the broken piece of window and extends his hand down, and he watches the body of the crow, slowly lifts up from the floor where it fell and is brought back into the room and dropped into the floor.
You found a crow. Where was it?
That's not fucking normal.
Wait, so it was shot, it died, and now it's on the floor?
Yeah, and it's writhing around like it's alive again.
Just fucking torching it again.
Grab it!
Tara will reach out and grab the crow.
The flame bursts next to it as it rolls around and flaps its wings.
Actually, Moonshadow will paw down on it.
Artoria, could you tell what that
athletics
is?
check.
What Prudence say?
Can Artoria tell what that is?
Artoria will divine sense again.
That is a very undead bird.
Eyes narrow. Just it's undead. Something's.
It's also an aberration.
It's also an aberration.
It's also a construct. It's also fiendish.
Do I still get the same sense from the room in general, or is it now focused on
Yes.
this crow? Something is messing with my senses. This can't be right. It can't be all of these things.
Theoretically.
Could be.
Where did you get the bird?
Moonshadow jumps on it and is just pinning both its wings down. It's trying to peck at Moonshadow's legs.
Don't eat it yet.
Don't eat it at all.
Yeah, that would be very bad if they ate it.
What did I miss?
The crow appeared on the ceiling. It spit up a knife. We tried to stop it. The knife kept flying off into the distance, and we don't know if it's gone.
He's gonna quickly run to the window and look out.
You don't see anything.
Hmm.
I feel like something's sticking around with us. I mean, if that... Shut up! If that dagger could fly itself out of here, why did it hang around for a bird to try to eat it?
The crow is writhing on the ground, and you start to hear tearing
could
as it rips one of its own wings off to get free of Moonshadow.
would Prudence be able to tell if she was fighting the magic of the dagger or if something else was pulling the dagger away?
Something was pulling against you.
Not the dagger, something else?
Something was playing. You were playing tug of war on that dagger with something else.
Moonshadow continues to pin the bird, and Vishtar is ready to grab it if it gets away from Moonshadow.
I need to make a wisdom. Needed to make a wisdom saving throw.
It rolled a 7.
Okay, it is now paralyzed.
What spell are you using?
Hold monster.
It stops moving for a moment.
How do I figure out how to link it? You're not going anywhere, little friend.
Actually, no, it doesn't.
Oh.
The spell has no effect.
Oh.
It continues to
Oh,
struggle
no effect on
and
undead. Fuck.
Oh yeah, it's undead.
pulls its other wing off. It is now a wingless bird, and it starts to roll around and try to get up and run.
Moonshadow's just gonna jump and pounce on it again.
Russell's gonna run and close the window.
Would
The window is
Stand in
shattered.
front.
would beheading
gonna
it make
stand
it
in
stop?
front.
I've got two options for this. Only one use of it. It's either the bird or the room. Wait, no, the room isn't considered undead, right? Just the bird.
Both. Everything. Everything around you.
Christ. Artoria is going to control undead.
The fuck?
I channel divinity. I control
Doesn't
undead.
matter. It rolled a 4.
I'm
It stops and turns and looks at you.
I'm gonna cast the mage hand and just gonna gently like grab it, like and just hold it in place just in case.
Oh, Moonshadow's already on top of it.
No, just an extra layer of no.
It will not leave. It is under my control now.
I don't want to take any chances.
She'll command it to speak if it can. What are you?
That's all it says.
Just, what was it? Just stick?
Sticks.
No, sticks.
Dick. Uh-oh. Alright. Do I have one or two more questions left?
Should still have 3. I don't think you asked it the 3rd question.
Oh shit, right? Dumb player question. does sticks exist in D&D? Like the river.
I mean,
In
there are
regular
plenty of
D&D, yeah.
sticks. Get
I
them off
think they
trees,
meant
off
the
bushes.
river sticks. Like in
You
Greek
don't know.
mythology.
It just said sticks. You don't know what it means.
That's why I'm asking as a dumb player, does the river Styx exist in D&D in general?
Roll a religion check.
As a paladin to the Lady of Death, would I know that?
You know that that's one term for the. It's possibly one term for the moment in between. It's a term used depending on what deities you worship.
Okay.
You don't know if it's an actual thing.
Right. And Artoria wouldn't have any sort of connection between that and whatever the fuck this bird is. But, yep. Okay. Sorry.
You know more behind the curtain than most people do about Death Artoria. There isn't any souls die. They go where they're supposed to go. And they go where they're supposed to go because the Raven Queen tells them to go there.
Mhm.
Because all of the threads, every single one of them, leads somewhere and eventually lead to an ending. When a thread is cut, the soul simply follows the other end of the thread to where it's finally going to end up.
So I got 15.
Okay.
You know that the term River Styx is used in certain religious circles, and it is a symbol of the. It is a visual aid for the concept of the passing between the material plane and the extra dimensional planes.
Sorry, so you said material plane to the what plane?
The extra dimensional planes, the planes beyond this one, where souls go. Whether
Okay.
that be a divine plane with a deity where you exist in your own personal heaven, whatever that may be for whatever god you worship, or the hells, or worse, the abyss.
Would I know which religions believe that or use that?
Roll another religion check.
Oh, where to put my? Oh, there. 17.
Possibly some of the island nations. You're not exactly sure. It's never been your real. It's never been something that you've specifically focused on.
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay.
For the record, I am taking note of everything we've learned so far.
Mm-hmm.
I see, Lee.
Reaper is mostly confused by all this. He doesn't really get it.
The smart people are confused by all this, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that bird is under my control. If it was originally flying back to whoever's in control of it, in theory, it may retain that location still. And maybe it can guide us there.
Or if it gets away, I can try to track it, or simply follow it.
Sure, I could release it from my control and let it escape, and then we follow it.
Artoria, make an intelligence check. Carry on.
Oh no!
To the body. Oh fuck! I forgot what I was gonna say, but I just want to say it. um, I should have written that one down. That was a good one. Did you hear the crow? Before, after being stabbed.
After.
Out of character, do succubi have dark vision?
Yes. You would know that. Most fiends do.
Okay. And she's saying that it was pitch dark, so it was magical darkness.
Roll a religion check.
That one's a 10.
That's enough. You know that most fiends don't just have dark vision. They have devil sight. They can see through magical dark. For her to have not seen anything meant that it wasn't just darkness, she was blinded in some capacity.
Were there any like wound marked to her eyes?
Not beyond the single straight line that cut her upper torso and head in half.
Okay, so as a mechanic, is darkness and blind two separate things?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
there's a spell darkness where it just kind of darkens an area, and if you're stuck in it, you can't see through it without it being dispelled. But blind is like you're blind regardless of what's going on around you.
Got it. Okay. Oh, right. Blindness, deafness is a spell.
Mhm.
Okay. Oh, I have it. That's why I remember. Okay. So blinded them before they woke up. Bro, it didn't happen until after. What do you remember of what happened from waking up until you heard the crow?
not move. I was trapped. And then something made me lift off the bed. I could not feel it at first. And then I felt it grab me, cold and sharp. But it did not cut. I could not move. Something pushed into my chest, and I heard a crow.
Alright, so somehow there was a creature in the room. She was asleep. Wakes up to hear sounds at the foot of her bed. Everything's in just. She's been blinded somehow.
Was she given
And
any
then-
gifts recently? Do we have enough to ask that?
I think you have one more question. I'm fairly
W-
certain.
We got one more.
Because it's possible the crow could have stabbed her, considering where it was keeping the dagger. But it still needed to get here somehow. In those... Well... Unless it was dropped here through the ethereal plane.
I mean, I ain't got any other leads, so. Is that the question we want to go with?
We can ask the crow if it stabbed her in theory, or force it to answer because Artoria commands it.
You want to do that then?
Artoria will command the crow to just kind of bob up and down if it was the one that killed her.
The crow sways side to side. Yeah, bro.
Did it just say Scarecrow?
Fear.
Gregor, no fears. Scarecrow, one fear.
I instantly thought Fiddlesticks.
Gun!
Kidding.
If I hear
Or
a
am I?
if I hear Scarecrow screaming, "Help me!" I'm casting Fireball. No questions.
Everyone's in the room.
Yeah, just let me rage and I'll be fine. Oh god, is this Fiddlesticks? Are we fighting Fiddlesticks?
Oh no.
I
You don't
hope
know.
not.
Just out of character. Soul sucking crows. This feels like a Fiddlesticks.
Well, we don't know.
And he's doing a
Yes.
very good voice for the crows that sound like.
Yes, you're right. It feels like a Fiddlesticks.
Fear.
Fear multiplies.
It feels like a Fiddlesticks.
I don't like that. I don't like that one bit.
All right, but back to in character because I don't understand any of this.
To Martin. Do you know of any elves or creatures that can elevate? I don't know. Maybe feel like steel?
Plenty. Telekinesis is not too difficult to affect, although. Fuck.
Yeah, that's
Oh
pretty
no.
set up.
Which way did that dagger fly? Tell me it was not north.
Prudence will point, because she was fighting it. She knows which way it was going.
It was flying straight north.
What's the symbolism behind that?
What is north?
The way we came?
What?
The,
On
With who?
where we came from?
What is north of South Paladin?
Out of character, I don't know.
What? What did he? What?
What is north of Southern Paladin? And he turns to look directly at you, Artoria.
Well, that's what I meant when I said where we came from. That I just couldn't remember the name of it.
What is occupying Northern Paladin?
Undead?
Demons.
Both.
The entirety of the abyss. That is why they want it or so.
What good does one fiendish soul do them? There's an entire army of the abyss.
One fiendish soul becomes 100 mob demons. Becomes 1,000 closets.
Son of a bitch.
The reason the abyss is the endless army is because they turn souls into soldiers.
We can't
Oh.
catch that knife. Or
We couldn't catch that knife on the wings of that fucking dragon we fought.
So how the hell would one of... How are they this far south?
I have no idea. I don't know. I do not know how they are moving. I do not know how they've gotten past the doors. I do not know how they've gotten past Ethan. I do not know.
wasn't
Prudence
there that
is
massive barrier near River Cross? Or
So something tells me they will be back.
For another?
This is the easiest place to get demonic, fiendish of souls. If these particular succubi and incubi are from the Nine Hills, then they are perfect food for the war machine. That is the abyss.
then they can't stay here.
where can
We
they
should probably
go?
let Avarice.
Where are they going to go?
Does that mean there's nothing to hunt?
Prudence probably for the
Or-
first time ever is looking a bit overwhelmed.
Martin is looking overwhelmed.
The feeling is very much mutual.
Everyone in this room is feeling very overwhelmed right now.
Why was I brought back from the dead? I was in sweet oblivion.
I just want to kill something.
Vishtar is fine.
Yeah, bro! Yeah, bro!
Can I kill that now?
No, it's our only lead at this point.
Can I
So
kill whatever this?
we use our last question, or once we use our last question, we don't have that anymore. Either.
Specifying to the party, not to the head. Should we ask them about the Scarecrow? Because like this area isn't like known for like farming, right? Like this is very much
No.
a city type place.
Why would a scarecrow be out in the city?
Which is
That's
why
not-
weird.
Has my spirit told me anything about a scarecrow?
No.
All right.
Artoria will command the bird to bob up and down if this scarecrow is what killed her.
It starts to bob.
Chills.
Again, bob up and down if you know where the scarecrow is.
It starts to sway back and forth.
You know where its lair is.
It starts to sway back and forth.
Do you know where you came from?
Starts to sway back and forth.
Did it summon you or create you?
Knife!
You were created to hold the knife?
It just opens. It leans all the way back so it's pointing straight at the ceiling and opens its mouth.
It was the weapon.
I think it was a vessel for the weapon. That's how it got past the barrier, because it's just a crow.
But it's not just a crow.
We should probably let Avarice know.
It's a sheath.
Mhm. Not to put down Avarice's magic, but whatever sigils he have may not, as much as I hate to admit it, be as all-seeing as the eyes.
I'm going to try something with this bird. Does anyone mind?
As long as I get to kill it at some point.
Sure, will just kind of gesture at the bird. Go ahead.
It's technically
And the bird
already
will-
dead, Vishtara.
I hate
bird will-
magic. It's still
Martin
moving.
walks forward,
Not
grabs
moving.
both sides of the crow's beak, and just starts to pull.
Ugh.
Ugh!
And you hear as he
Listen.
rips the thing in two.
Ugh!
There is no guts. There is no blood. There is no insides. There is leather. And runes. Fucking sheath. Throws the two pieces on the ground. It's an inanimate object as far as his runes know.
That's why it was a construct.
Is it still moving?
The bottom part of it gets back up.
Alright then.
Artoria will hold control of it because he doesn't want it going anywhere.
So
Alright.
all we know is the creature is something scarecrow and sticks.
So, time is still ticking. What is our
You have
last
about
question?
a minute left on that spell.
Are we asking about Scarecrow? Are we asking about if they got any gifts?
I'd say scarecrow. I want to find this thing.
I would say maybe any gift. No, that one.
Well, because we know how the knife got here now.
Before she went to bed, did she hear or see anything unusual?
No.
I feel like we already asked that question.
Yeah.
Oh, Oh,
we
I have the
yeah,
memory of a goldfish.
it's all good.
I don't think
Oh, don't worry. I feel like that squirrel.
she can.
Sorry, what were we talking about?
The last question.
I think we should ask about the Scarecrow.
Everybody put in your votes.
I feel like she's not gonna know.
She's not gonna know about a scarecrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same time.
Everyone,
Also, we can.
everyone, please reach under your seats and grab your voting devices. And
Uh,
I think we should just let her rest now.
All right. I have a backup question then. Lost my paper. uh, Jasmine, do you have any last words or requests?
the corpse kind of shifts its eyes back up to you. Put me in the sea. I've always loved the water.
Shit, man.
Aww.
I'll just kind of look up like she's in a few too many pieces to easily move.
what do you mean? It's easier to carry.
And with that, you hear the as the corpse slumps back and falls back into pieces.
There has.
Is there a waste bin in this room?
Just sweep her into a waste
No, no. Is there a waste bin in this room?
There is.
Rosalind is going to go over and promptly puke.
Okay.
Okay. You pick the waste bin up from it's laying on its side. You pick it up, you place it down very gently. You look at your entire party and go, I don't like any of this. Kneel down and vomit.
Fork.
Is there?
Prudence will hold
I
his
feel
hair
like-
for him.
I wish there was something I could do. I kind of look at the body. It's like I wish there was something I could do. It's like I'll let Avarice know.
You could turn it to ash and scatter it on the sea. And as you look back, you see Avarice is leaning in the doorway.
Mhm.
Pardon my intrusion, I just got back.
I'm going to promptly let him. I hand him the thing my notes of what we've all gathered, and from
Okay.
speaking to.
He takes it from you, looks it over. Got to be fucking kidding me.
This threat is more than just something that we can handle. This is a threat to the entire city itself.
He walks over, like, listening to you, but not at the same time. He walks over to the runes that are on the floor.
Yeah, but Stara's kind of trying to non-suspiciously just kind of shove the broken wood from the floor that they tore up under the bed, just kind of out of sight.
He reaches his hand down, and you see a bolt of flame fire out from his hand, blast into the floor.
Ugh.
And he does it again, and again, and again, and again. You the fuckers! And he keeps firing firebolts until the floor is scarred clean of that writing.
I cautiously approach. She wishes.
Okay, I needed that.
She wishes to be sent to sea.
We'll take care of it. We will take care of her.
I cast Mage Hand, and there's a Mage Hand just soothingly patting Rosalind's back.
Also, I realized that I used the wrong tag. I, as a player, am not puking.
10,000 gold.
Sorry?
10,000 gold. Find this goddamn scarecrow and put it down.
Would have done it regardless.
We'll see it done.
Should be a good hunt. Hopefully it puts up a good fight. I can kill it this time, right? We don't have to bring it back.
I want it in pieces.
Vishtara is grinning ear to ear.
I want its head to mount.
Well, you might get 2 pieces, you know, half.
We'll bring you proof of its death. Salvage the pieces, and you can make a trophy out of it.
Now I have to go figure out what I'm going to do with all of the other succubi and incubi that are under my employment who thought this place was safe.
Do inform someone from the city as well. I don't believe that the only succubi, incubi, and other fiends in the city are exclusively under your employment. They are also equally at danger.
Could you put them in a place like, and I kind of gesture over to Martin, like his little house till we get this thing?
Actually, Everest, that's not a terrible decision. You could put them in sealed rooms. No windows or anything to be pried open by bird sheaths. Everest just
You
kind of
should
waves
check
her
under
hand.
the floorboards.
Oh, we are going to rip up every floorboard in this entire building.
But it's possible that it didn't even come in through a door.
I'm seesawing your nuts.
Rustin's done puking.
The Mage Hand is still patting.
Artoria, roll a perception check. Gregor, roll one as well.
Oh no, he fell off. I'll have to use another one.
No.
Uh, 17.
Okay. Everest continues to walk out of the room. For now, we are closed. Until we can figure out something else to do, we are closed. Apologize if you were planning on staying.
For the best. Well, I hope everyone here stays safe.
He nods and leaves the room. You all start to kind of make your way out.
Prudence is gonna go check on Martin.
Gross. Martin is visibly both upset and irritated. And you watch as he's walking, he's tapping his fingers against the side of his leg, and he's drawing symbols onto his leg, and he's muttering to himself, trying to figure something out. Artoria.
Mhm.
As you're heading out of the room, you're looking at the symbols on the walls near the door. You notice one of them is familiar to you.
Oh.
Among all these runes and symbols, most of them, as you've heard from Prudence, are just bullshit. They were scratched onto the wall to make it look important, to make it someone not look at the floor. But you notice one that you recognize. Symbol of the silver maw is in this room.
Oh boy. And I remember them to be people. They were, I thought, monster hunters, weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
But do they classify fiends as monsters?
They classify everything that does not exist on the material plane as monsters.
I'd probably be considered a monster.
That's why you had such uneasy relationships with them. Because your village, while blessed by a deity, and therefore was untouchable by them, was filled with monsters in their eyes.
Do I know... actually, I don't know anything about Gorbash, frankly. But she's going to point that out to everyone and explain about the Silver Maw, that they're monster hunters, a large monster hunting guild from Varad, and they're known to see anything that isn't from the material plane as a monster.
Oh, good.
A...
My eyes roll back the moment she says silver maw.
I had the misfortune of having to deal with them for a few years of my life in order to protect my home. They are some of the worst people I've ever had to work with. And if we find out that they are behind this, I would not be surprised, other than the fact that the dagger is heading north to presumably the army of demons, very much not from the mortal plane, which the Silver Maw would be would have absolutely no support for. I'm not sure how they correlate now, actually. Unless they were merely hired to kill her and then ignore anything that happens afterwards.
Or it's just another bullshit symbol.
Or it's just another bullshit symbol meant to lead us off track.
So, but we should keep it in mind.
For certain. It may mean something. But for now, Artoria will kind of just pick up the bottom half to the crow. This is... I'll lead. And the bottom half is the half that is still functioning, right? Like under her command.
As you go to turn around and pick it up again, it's not moving anymore.
Son of a bitch.
And you feel as if your control over it has faded.
So
How are we
let's-
supposed to?
I have a few ideas. Well, one, really.
What would that be?
Try to speak with some of the other animals in the area, see if they've seen any unusual amounts of crows coming from some location. I am able to communicate with animals.
Well, if you can find out anything, I suppose that may be helpful, but I don't think this crow came from somewhere. It was created to look like a crow. But regardless, asking wildlife is, well, it's something. More than I can think of.
You all eventually make your way down to the tavern area where you see Arx is enjoying his second plate of breakfast.
I was just about to ask, what's Arx up to? It's been forever.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, you guys were probably gone for what, 15 minutes at most?
About 20.
Yeah, so he would probably be halfway through his second plate of breakfast.
They all look thoroughly disturbed,
Well,
except
Artoria looks
Fishtar.
like he's ready to hunt something.
Artoria looks like she's just pissed.
Gregor's on the same boat as Artoria.
Martin looks also pissed.
Rustin looks kind of messed up. He's clean, but he looks rough.
I'll get you some tea, Rustlin.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Arx is just going to pop a piece of fruit in his mouth. Munch it. So what are you contracted to kill this time?
Scarecrow.
I'd be happy to know it's a monstrosity, something that shouldn't exist.
Hmm. Now, when Vishtar says Scarecrow, does that trigger anything for Arx at all?
Not really.
Hmm.
Roll a general intelligence check.
Oh boy, where's that button? There it is.
You don't even know what a scarecrow is.
Yeah, that's why I was figuring I'd ask. Right.
Question about interacting with my deity. When I ask a question, they understand intent, right? So like if I just example, it's not like a fey trick where like you say the thing and it gets twisted.
Generally, yeah, they understand your intent.
Okay.
Whether or not they can actually reach out into the material plane is a different story, but
Got it.
So where to?
Not sure.
I
We don't
think
really-
for now we are stuck waiting. I
We
do not
should
think
also
this creature is going to show itself to us. I think we're going to have to find it in its act.
That's
have to
what
wait.
I was asking where to.
We need to find out if this has happened before, or if it's happening, continuing
in
to
the city.
happen. Yes.
Are you saying we should look for clues?
Investigation.
We
Okay.
also need to find somewhere to stay now that the place is closing.
To be fair, I thought we were only staying here for you to do whatever it is you need to do. thought we had.
I know a different place we can. I know a different tavern we can go to. That is not a problem.
Well, regardless, we may not want to simply stay the night somewhere. We might want to sit and wait and watch. At least here, where we know there's fiends, or fiends that could be targeted.
Where are the most amount of fiends located? If I was as a hunter, I would want to know
I'm gonna
where the
roll an
most
intelligence check for Martin.
prey is.
Martin knows. 19 plus things. As you say, where are the most amount of fiends located? Martin, like, he had sat down on a chair, like one of the couches on the side of the walls. His head popped up. You need an emissary.
Emissary?
There's one in the city.
But between Corvash and the Nine Hells?
Yes. Oh,
Artoria,
how did I forget about him?
does not believe that.
So,
Or doesn't want to.
There is a noble from the Hells living here.
You'd think a nobler soul would do the abyss more than just any old souls. I think that would be their primary target.
Well,
No?
I doubt they wanted to tangle with him.
Fair.
A succubi is, to be fair, not a very combat-oriented being. Not a high-powered warlock and his ranger wife.
Right. Well, regardless, are they...
Ah, that's what you were asking for.
Yeah, can I ritual cast that?
Can it be ritual cast?
It is a ritual.
I don't know if that can be ritual cast. I think that would be your 5th level spell.
It is tagged as ritual on my screen.
It is in fact a ritual spell. I am wrong. Okay, yeah, you can do that.
Pug.
Okay, so it gives me
All right, so
3
you
questions.
sit down
okay.
and are you gonna just do this in the middle of the tavern? Because you're gonna have to spend the 11 minutes casting this.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna hold off for 1 second because I just realized that it says yes or no questions. So I have to rephrase my questions. I will come back to that.
If anyone knows the location of all of the fiends in the city, this is going to be their emissary.
And this noble would hopefully have the ability to help protect them.
Possibly.
Good, I think.
Probably, most likely. I assume he is here, and they are in the city very specifically because he is here.
Could he even return them, even if only temporarily? Because I believe the safest place would be somewhere that they can't be reached entirely. Well, regardless, that would be questions for him, would it not?
Okay, who wants to go to the casino? That is probably where he is going to be.
I don't know what this casino is, but
What a guy.
That or his bakery.
Oh, he has a bakery.
His wife has a bakery, I think. I don't know.
Emissary from the Nine Hells and a Bakery. That. Hmm.
To be fair, their ovens must get very hot.
I don't really get it, but
Special of the day, Hellfire biscuits.
I could honestly go for one of those right now. And Martin like stands up. This is. We need to go. We need to go and not. We are all a fucking mess. And he
One way to describe it.
looks at Ruslan.
Uh,
we need
You're
to.
right.
We need to not be emotional.
I'm
The
sorry,
crew will
I'll
start
try to
taking
calm
deep
down.
breaths.
He's still tapping his finger against his leg. Still doing that pattern drawing.
Is it anything Prudence could recognize?
Yes, you've seen him drawing the same symbols from his book. He's tracing his spells on his leg. Very rapidly, very much a nervous tick. And you have a strange feeling. He's talking mostly about himself.
We shouldn't waste time. We should try to get to this embassy.
Let's go then.
The sooner
Also,
we
I
can.
do have the questions now.
Let's go towards their bakery.
I don't want them. I don't want anyone else lost to whatever is this the Scarecrow.
Let's go towards their bakery. And the tavern that I have. The tavern I know is on the way there. We can stop there, re-put our stuff down, and then if they're not at the bakery, we head towards the casino. And hope and pray we can get an audience with an emissary from the house.
I believe we'll have a pretty convincing argument for why he should meet with us.
Sure.
Make him look like a pretty bad emissary if all of the people under him are suddenly dying.
I'm sure all we have to do is say dead succubus and we'll have an audience.
Out of character, was that a suggestion to not cast the spell at this tavern and to wait until the next one?
Yeah.
Just we're getting up and ready to go.
You all head out. You start to get the carriages and the carts together.
On our way, I'd like to make a link with Martin.
Okay.
And allow him to, I can link and start to talk to anyone. It's just this one, he can actually respond back telepathically.
Okay.
You know a lot of magic, right?
I do. He responds back telepathically.
Yeah, it's only between the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of... Just kind of takes a moment to try and think of it. Have you heard of magic tattoos?
I have. There was a professor at my college that did it. It is a very rare art and even rarer to find a practitioner.
Hmm.
There
And
may be
he'll
one in Corythan.
Hmm. Have you possibly heard of needles that have tattoos in them? Not. He kind of scratches the back of his head. I don't really know how to explain it.
The
I
needles are used to putting the tattoo into your skin. I'm sure the needles themselves are in some way enchanted.
hmm, I just I was shown something last night, and from what I could tell, there was something with needles and imbuing power and fire and people running away with these needles. Just, just kind of shakes his head. I don't
Me
really
too.
understand magic.
I will look into this for you if you wish. It is an expensive process. I am not sure of what you mean by fire or robbery.
Just
It is a
something
rare.
my spirit was showing me. I don't fully understand it.
I will look into it for you.
I'll give him a nod and
Uh,
thanks.
you all continue down the street, starting to trail some of the path that you walked through the last night arcs over the canals, and the streets are busy and bustling. There are numerous different races wandering about their day. You see merfolk in the canals going about their lives. It all seems so distant for you at the moment. At least the ones who were in the room with the murder. You all walk or ride for the better part of 20 minutes before you reach this area of the city that's cut out like a bazaar. It's open, much like this square was that had the casino's entrance, with a number of stalls and little pop-up shops, as well as larger businesses in buildings. And eventually, Martin points at one. Well, there's the bakery.
Mhm.
And you see a large red brick building with a sign that says Hell Baked Cake.
Uh,
I was joking earlier.
And as you all start to approach it, you see an elven woman walking towards it as well, carrying like a couple bags with her
mhm.
that are filled way too much and should be spilling out. And she's just skipping, hopping towards the building. Like, turns and slams her butt against the door, so fling it open, and then she bounces inside.
Does that be the
Head
darling
on in.
wife?
Head on in.
Here we go.
You enter to the smell of cooking breads and sweets. The smell of warm sugars hits all of your noses immediately. It smells wonderful in here.
Reminds
This is the
But
first
it's
time for
changed
Vitara.
Smell of.
He's never been in a. He's
Gonna-
never been in a bakery before.
the smell reminds me of her when he was a child.
Hey, Gregor.
Yeah?
Boop, boop.
I get this nostalgic look on my face, and then it's like I jump like, ugh!
And as you guys walk in, this crowd of people, including Dargrim, has followed you.
Oh, thank
Oh
goodness.
god.
As you all left the inn, he poked his head out of his cart and nodded his head.
I'm so glad he exists.
He had followed you because he's a member of the party now, whether you like it or not.
Good.
This is a
We
threat.
We just don't hear him because he always
He
says
stays in
"Mm."
his cart.
His
Replies to-
invisible
He
cart.
did go into the brothel last night with you, and even hired a companion.
Yeah.
What?
He was just waiting for you guys outside because they asked him to leave.
We don't. Yeah, he's
Uh,
having his own adventures while
He's
we're doing our shit.
he's living his best life.
My man. Dirk. If he starts following us, Artoria will just kind of give him like a somber look and like a low, drawn out, just as they start moving.
He immediately purses his lips and nods. And like pats you on the back. I am going to run a Dalgrim's Bizarre Adventure one shot.
Do it. Do it.
Dalgrim, deal.
Oh man.
No, Durgrim's a level 20 artificer for potion Smith.
He's actually a custom class of mine.
Ooh.
Oh, Greg.
He,
But
he is an alchemist.
Ooh.
but yeah, for like back on track, back on track. Sorry, my heartbeat.
So you walk in and the smells hit you, and from behind the counter, you see like unpacking these giant bags is this somewhat tall, orange-haired elven woman who turns. Customers, hello!
I jump again.
So does Prudence. She kind of like reels
If
back
you'd
a
like
little
to
bit,
take
like.
over.
Wait, so she's orange-haired right now?
No, she's spring.
Orange or green? Okay, green. Okay.
Green. Sorry,
So-
green.
Greenish, blondish hair,
Oh,
and just very excited. Just, oh, dude, come in. Sorry for the mess. How can I help you all?
Wait,
And
what
as she
just
walks-
happened?
Uh,
Is Artoria both? Artoria and this?
This is
What?
Artoria's old character.
This is one of my old characters, and Zach asked me to voice them. Sorry, couldn't be that more clear.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. I was confused. Wait, your character married a demon?
I'll leave that. As she like looks at you all, notices more than one person like in armor and like just with full gear, just kind of like a little less excited. Just, what did Luke do this time?
Luke didn't do anything. He calls. You hear a voice from upstairs. from in the kitchen.
Oh, that's right. Oh, so you are just customers. How can I help you?
Martin just blinks. He's trying to process emissary of hell.
This.
Come on,
This-
don't be shy.
We're looking for the emissary of the Nine Hells.
So you are looking for Luke. He did do something. Luke, what'd you do?
Didn't do anything. God damn it! And walking out of the kitchen in an apron and some like mittens, carrying a cake that is not iced but is steaming hot, is a blonde human man with orange eyes.
Oh man, I was hoping it was a pit fiend in like a pink apron.
I didn't. Oh, that's a lot of people in armor.
What did you do to make these nice people so unhappy? Actually, I guess they're not really unhappy. They just kind of asked for you.
Luke, this human man who you now hear the name of as Luke, puts the cake down, walks over, and bops the elf on the head. He takes the apron off. Can I help you all?
We're here about a dead succubus. I think. Is that right?
The face immediately changes, come to the back.
I no. The second we come to the back, I'm gonna hand him my notes.
You walk into the back and there's a portal made of fire.
Ah!
I hate magic.
I think you won't fault me for not going with you.
It's not just Durgam, it's also Arcs. Arcs and Durgam on their own bizarre adventure.
The blonde human steps through the portal, and the green-haired elf comes bouncing through it right after him.
I just,
Alright.
imagine,
Just, oh yay, the portal!
I just imagine her like going to the door really quick, flipping it size back in a jiffy, and then
Turn
hit straight through the portal.
This is canon.
Runs over, grabs a pie, runs back through the portal.
Just kind of pet Smoocha to calm it down a little bit as they walk in.
I go through.
Runs back out, grabs a couple cookies in case people don't want pie, runs back through the portal.
Runs back, grabs some tea, goes back through the portal again, looks at everyone standing still. Guys, come on, it's fine.
Can I do a check to see if I know what this portal thing is?
It's a portal to hell.
Kieran?
Right. All right. Well,
Do you have any eclairs, Alira?
She like starts looking through like a display case probably. And it's like eclairs. And then eventually stands up, looks at Krugor. What's an eclair? After
what?
searching like 30 seconds.
It's a puff pastry topped with chocolate icing, and it's filled with a cream.
That sounds amazing. I should start making those. But she'll kind of somber a bit, like, it sounds like you have something like important to talk about with my husband, so you should probably go do that.
I'll see if I can get you my mother's recipe for that.
And she runs to the portal.
I
You
just-
all, whoever's going, start to make your way through it, and you walk into an office. And it's very warm in here.
I'm a tiefling. This is fine.
And you look out the window, and it's hell.
It's literally the picture
Land
the
of our
dog-
ancestors.
You feel at home suddenly, Prudence.
question about very warm. Like, what number
Oh,
would that essentially
geez.
You're looking at a nice, cozy, like 85, 90 degrees.
be?
It's
So
literally-
Ruslin's happy, but he's a little sweaty.
Sweaty boy.
Apologize for the heat. It's hell out there.
Pretty
I don't really get it.
Rustlin just like cackles.
My
This
wife
Tara
is
does
rubbing
not
off
really
on me.
understand.
Good. Sit down. You mentioned dead succubus, and as he turns and sits down, the orange eyes that he has are glowing very brightly.
I hand the notes I gathered.
Green Stone takes them, starts reading it. Succubi, Scarecrow. Oh, well then. Soul leaders now. Wonderful.
So, do you know where the Scarecrow is so we can kill it?
No clue. This is the first I'm hearing about it, which is concerning.
As Artoria, what does the Scarecrow make any sense to you?
Not at all, but the Abyss never really does make any sense. It's part of its charm. It's always coming up with new and monstrous ways to kill us. He motions for the entirety of the room, and then all of you guys.
Terrific.
A common enemy, then.
Very common. Where are my manners? I am Luke Constantine. I am the Marquis of the 4th level of Hell. And he bows his head to you all.
I don't really get it.
I might be wrong on what level of Hell he's from. I apologize. It's been a while since I played the character. I just realized that may not actually be the devil I'm thinking of.
It's fine.
I'm sorry, his name was Luke what?
Luke Constantine.
Constantine. Okay, thank you.
Ah, fuck, what was his last name?
Tell me.
Prudence is having a lot of confusion right now. There's a lot to unpack here, but okay.
Tara's also confused, but he also just doesn't really care to really understand it.
Seeing Luke bow, Lyra kind of doesn't process for a little while, and goes, and then hair flashes to like a kind of brownish orangish, as she also very nobly and humbly takes a bow alongside Luke. I am Liravel Kaith Constantina Stalda.
Oh,
That's
Ark's
a big name.
here. Damn.
No, he is not, because Portal to Hell, Fey being, as far as he is aware. Not
Actually,
typically
no.
a
You would
welcome
have
option.
recognized her immediately. Lyra's a Fey being.
Yeah.
she is very important in the Feywild.
How do I spell the wife's name?
Oh,
Good luck.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
I was
I
gonna
heard
say,
it and I was like, oh no.
So, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I was gonna write down Mrs. Constantine.
That also works.
So, upon seeing this lady who would be very well known, Arx would just, again, he's still looking like bog standard generic human that nobody would pay any attention to beyond a passing glance. But seeing her, he would kind of freeze up, knowing kind of exactly who she was, and then seeing her run back and forth, he would just kind of be a little dumbfounded. That she would be in this kind of place of all places.
So, you all discovered a dead succubi in the city and came to me. Thank you for that. Lyra, call when you get out of here, out of this meeting. Reach out to Quenya. Have her start going around and escorting all of those with infernal fiendish blood to us. We're bringing them here.
Of course, we shall make absolutely certain everybody will be safe.
I'm going to have a word with the boss.
Oh, how you love having words with him.
More specifically, I'm going to have to talk to his boss, and I'm sure they're going to. And then he turns to all of you. For what it is worth, if you are hunting this creature, you have the full backing of hell behind you. For what we can spare, the Blood War has become interesting with the occupation of the Primateria plane.
Thank you, sir.
Fishtara makes a link and says this directly to Prudence only. I have no idea what any of this means.
Oh,
Could
yeah.
you
We'll explain it a bit later. It's a bit complicated. Wars, big wars that span many, many worlds. All of them, I think.
What did this
I
all
just
happen?
know if you're. I just know hell is a place where bad things come from.
Most of the time. Not always.
The occupations. I look over at Artoria. Did this all happen while I was dead?
Yes. Unfortunately, I may have left out. The northern continent is currently entirely overrun with both undead and demons from the abyss. That is how.
I remember you telling
The
me that.
undead are also demons of the abyss. That would be one of their princes doing.
Even more reason to hate them.
The fungal forests, the undead, all of the demons. Sludge pits, everything up there is according to the rule of the princes that now sit on throne, dividing that part of the country.
And they're starting to make their way down here. Like,
So it would seem.
So you have no idea what this Scarecrow or Sticks thing is?
It's an abomination stealing the souls of my people. Beyond that, the Abyss has a creative way of continuing to surprise us.
Do you know of
Demons,
any
unlike
way?
any other creature on this or any other plane of existence, are fond of experimenting until they find something that can kill us better.
Do you know of any way to track it?
Not unless I knew what the creature was. Not. However, Corythan's not like this, but we're going to reinforce their guard. Subtly at first, and then not so subtly if this continues.
better be safe than sorry, I suppose.
Yes, I agree. And you watch Luke reach over and grab a small bell on his desk and ring it twice, and the door opens. And come crawling into the room is a large creature, almost pale white with skin that's gauntly stretched across a skeletal frame. It walks on all fours and then kind of stands up on the rear two legs. The tail is long and almost scythe-like that twists around behind it.
I don't like that.
Yeah, Artoria
I
instinctively puts a hand on the hilt of her sword.
Luke
oh,
lifts his
sword
hand.
fully out, and I point and message to everyone. What about that? Can I hunt that?
No.
Nope.
Not yet.
I slowly reach over and make him put the weapon down.
General, summon about 50 imps. I want the skies clear. I want everything seen. Do not want this creature getting out of our sight. If it shows up again, we know about it. Am I clear? And this creature, this bone devil, nods its head. Yes, sir. Do you want Grix to follow them? I want Grix in charge of it. Yes, sir. And it bows and it turns to all of you. Pardon me. It lowers itself into a very deep bow.
Bows back.
Artoria just says nothing and stares.
Subtle guardians at first. As the creature walks out, imps can be invisible. They can fly and they will not interfere with anyone's business, but it must be done. I do not like the seat of my own power being threatened by these creatures and my people being assassinated. The Marquis leans back in his chair, brings his hands forward. So, are you going to be hunting it directly then?
Preferably.
That's the plan.
If everything goes according to plan.
Take this. And he holds out his hand, and a flame, a large, dark orange flame, extends out of it.
It's dangerous to go alone.
All right,
Take,
Holding the flame out for you.
just to the party in general.
Mm-hmm.
No.
I reach and take.
Gregor, as you reach forward and you grab it, the flame doesn't burn you. In fact, it feels almost colder than the rest of the room.
Mm-hmm.
You reach out and grab it, and your fingers actually grab something. You pull it away, and you pull away a tiny bit of the flame. And as you hold it, it flickers in your hand, it hardens and falls into your hand. And it looks like a little flame-like gemstone.
What's it do?
It lets me contact you and vice versa.
Ah, handy.
Very handy.
Yeah, Artoria will. Is he still holding out the flame, or is Gregor's the?
No, he's still holding it out.
Alright.
It diminished a little bit as Gregor grabbed part of it, but he's still holding it out.
Yeah. Artoria will reach forward and grab at it as well. Then.
Mm-hmm.
If you wish to speak, if you need anything, if you've learned the whereabouts of this creature, squeeze that crystal and speak into it. That is a direct link to me and my wife.
We'll take one.
Do not engage this creature alone.
Hmm.
I'm sure we've handled worse.
But extra help wouldn't hurt.
It is a killing machine of the abyss. I suggest you not fight it alone.
Not planning to. And we'll give a stern eye to both Artoria and to Vishtara.
As soon as you find it, or as soon as we find it, my soldiers and you will converge, and you will slaughter this thing.
Leader's hair flashes back to green as she kind of pouts and looks at Luke. Oh, we're not gonna fight it?
We are going north, sweetie.
Oh, there's more. Oh, ooh, okay.
This has extended far too south for my liking. We are going to assess the damage ourselves.
Isn't that a little dangerous?
Danger's my middle name. Actually, it's Kaith.
I was gonna say that Greg was gonna say I thought it was Kaif.
First,
I
we need
just-
to go see your mother and get some troops of our own from them.
I always like visiting Mom.
He just nods.
Peyton, I feel like your characters have a theme of enjoying the thrill of nearly dying.
They're just adventurous.
A single brain cell.
Between all of them.
Well, to be fair,
What? High intelligence rating? Nah!
I think
It is a
Um,
dumb stat.
Lyra was
Well-
actually really intelligent. She just elected not to. Well, yeah, sort of.
actually I think Grayson is the one character who has the most brain cells.
Grayson doesn't like dying. He tries to not die.
I feel like he's an exception.
Grayson
See,
says it's my turn to use
However,
brain cells.
Griffin, Lyra, Kivuo.
The problem with Lyra is that Lyra almost never went down because everyone was too busy stabbing Luke.
Yep.
Because she was always up in the sky, flying.
Yep. We also usually killed things before they could hurt us, which was great. But yeah. Fear of death.
So
Anyway.
yes.
Fear of death is for the weak.
No. And he pulls his hand back now that you all have a piece of that fire.
Mhm.
If you have any need of us, contact us. Or find an imp. They'll be around.
Very well.
Or a large closet. That's mine.
Very well. If we see this thing, we'll send word immediately.
Please do. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a new war to plan. And a king of the archdevils to contact.
And I have to go make sure nobody else dies. And the leader's gonna like skip out.
Oh, Leo, there's also a cake in the oven.
Panic screaming.
And she runs instead of skips.
Panic screaming.
Luke waves his hand again, and the portal opens again. If you'll excuse me, we have some work to do.
Certainly.
Us dragons
That is a fair point, Gregor. Artoria will kind of turn back to Luke before they head out. As the advocate for Hell and the Mortal Plane, you may wish to inform whoever is above you that something is bringing back and butchering what used to be dragons.
Wonderful. Certain my wife, who is alive for them, will love to hear that.
Hmm.
Oh, right.
Butchering as
Ah.
in stitching together and making horrible, unholy abominations.
Trust me, my imagination is strong.
Yes.
Motions to the fact that you're in hell.
Also, it appears, the Court of Winter is making its move.
No, they're fine.
Excellent.
The Court of
My-
Winter.
My wife is the princess to the Court of Summer.
Court. I'm sorry, you said Court of Summer.
Mm-hmm. They have tenuous relationships with the Winter Court, but they would know if they were moving to invade anyone. It seems they're just as concerned with the upheaval of the Prime Material Plane as anyone. They're just preparing themselves.
Fair,
As
but
is everyone else. Alright. Off with you all. I have business to do. I have to go find Riffin, wherever that little bastard ran off to, and I have to go contact Asmodeus.
You.
Have a good day.
Just like, yeah,
Those are two names
luck
that I
with
have a
that.
lot of questions about. But we both have work to get done. Well, everyone, we have a abomination to hunt down.
You all stumble out into the kitchen as Lyra is frantically icing a cake.
Anybody want some monster hunting cake?
They're okay.
What's cake?
Sure.
Vishtara, you need to try cake.
Mr. I just look at Vishtara like, have you been living?
I've been living in the woods until about a month ago.
Fair.
Lyra, Luke mentioned something, about you being a part of the Court of Summer.
Mm-hmm.
Could you,
Arx, you can hear this conversation now. They're all back in the kitchen.
I'm figuring.
could you, tell me about, the Court of Summer?
Oh, totally. What do you want to know?
Who heads it?
My mom.
Yeah, that
When thou asks dumb questions, thou gets dumb answers.
I don't think it's so much dumb as just I don't even know.
The only dumb one here is Lyra, let's be real.
What is, your mother's name?
Oh, fuck, hold on. I'm glad I opened up the other games, Roll20. Hold on, I definitely wrote this down.
You did, and it was like 17 names.
Yep.
Got it.
My mom's name. Why do you want to know? I mean, I can tell you. It's Tia Atellen.
Well, wait, what did you say? It was like half a word that came out.
Ooh, I am in the wrong roll 20. Let me type it in Tia
I think he asked, why do you want to know?
Atellen. Tia
Ah.
Atellen.
Thank you. Well, I recently found out that I'm a child of summer. I don't entirely know what it means.
They would kind of cock her head a bit and be like, I mean, maybe that means you're born in the summer court. I don't know. What's your name? I can ask my mom if she knows you.
My name's my name's Rosalind. Rosalind Atwater.
Well, nice to meet you, Rustlin.
You as well.
As this is going down, I'm writing down something.
This entire time, Leader has probably been finishing icing and then like plating slices of cake for anybody who wants it.
There's so much icing on them. There is so much icing. She
I
started
was told to
speaking
try
and she
cake.
was spinning the cake, but she didn't stop spraying icing, so it's just like a giant layer of icing.
Icing with a side of cake.
Yes. Prudence will take some. She needs comfort sugar right now. She needs,
Me too.
Martin
she
will
needs
also take some.
comfort a lot of things right now, because she'll take a piece of cake from the
Yeah.
wife of a, demon lord. That's cool.
And as I take my piece, I hand what I wrote down over to her. It's the recipe for the eclairs.
She just goes, oh, okay, I'll totally have to make these, and then hopefully we can celebrate the monster hunt with eclairs. And she like gets all giddy, just like.
This is a woman who had
monster
every bullet taken for her by her husband.
Get down. Get down, Madam President.
I can't tell you the amount of times Luke went down in that campaign because he would throw a fireball at something and then Lyra's in the air going la 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 la, la shooting arrows down.
Hey, she saved him at least once.
Yeah, she kept having to save him because he kept having to go down because he kept drawing the fire of everyone.
She wasn't in the air that often because Quenya pretty frequently was bodying for him.
Fair, because our cleric was non-existent.
Because our fucking cleric wanted to be a fighter, but wanted to be a cleric too, and then did neither.
What's that like?
I try the cake piece with just.
It's so sweet. It's so sweet. Oh god.
Yeah,
It's
Victoria's just
made
shoveling
sweet
it in as well.
Yeah, it is probably just the sweetest cake you have ever had. And like Lyra looks like it is just fine.
This
So
is the
you
first
know-
cake he has ever had.
You know the oh god. I'm trying to remember the type of dessert this would be. Neapolitan?
Mhm.
No.
The triple ice cream.
No,
Well-
it's something I'd have to remember it.
Millefeuille is very similar to a Neapolitan. With a stupid French name, but yes.
Victoria's looking up and over to this hyperactive person. Where's the meat?
There's no meat in cake. Oh, that'd be so gross.
Unless it's a meat pie.
Unless it's a meat pie.
Those typically aren't desserts, though. Those
Napoleon.
are meals.
It's a Napoleon cake.
Very sweet. I think this is probably the sweetest thing I had since I Woke up. Yeah.
Is it good?
Oh yes.
Better with meat.
The amount of almost crying you guys just avoided.
Prudence seems to think it's just fine. Sugar's good. It's been a long time since she's had any sort of sugar.
I've been dead.
She may be manic for a while after this. Sleep? What's that?
I might be dead.
Russell's doing the polite you take a bite, you realize that it's way too sweet for yourself, but will continue to eat the whole slice.
That's kind of how Arx is processing it as well.
Don't be rude. Don't be rude. Don't be rude.
Well, yeah,
Just
for
Tara
Arx it's
just had,
also
like,
a
the-
matter of position.
Yeah.
Vistara just had like the one bite and just disappointed there's no meat.
At one
Martin,
bite, probably
Martin
also
is
gave
like
you a sugar
taking
high.
giant forkfuls.
Yeah.
This cake could pair well with some tea.
I have linked to the cake.
The
It is very-
flaky goodness,
Oh.
probably.
Except that gooey, delicious cream that's in the top is also layered on the top of. In the middle is also layered on the top of the cake, like way too tall.
Oh no.
Martin takes a second slice, hands it to Prudence, and then takes a second slice for himself. looks down at you, Prue, and goes, "We deserve this," and just continues eating.
Yes.
You guys are going to regret that later.
We have earned this.
Can we start hunting this thing now?
Oh, sorry. I'll stop holding you guys up. You got work to do. Oh shit, so do I.
And with that, the bright-haired elf just goes charging back into the portal to hell.
Artoria. Before you
Yes.
left, if you don't mind my asking, what happened to my parents? They were still there when I left.
I wish I could remember.
Fine, they were very old when I left.
I wish I could give a more reassuring answer. But I'm sure they are still around, helping the town. And Artoria will put a hand on Gregor's shoulder and try to give him a confidence smile.
I just give this like very sad, very tired smile.
You all make your way out of the bakery, and you're gonna cast communion in the bakery.
Just a reminder that I'm still waiting on it.
This would be as good a spot as any to do it if we want to.
Yeah,
Take
we're
the
eating
time to-
cake.
Yeah.
Multiple slices of really awesome cake. So
Having cake and tea.
Then yes, I will ritual cast it here.
You do watch as Russell is ritual casting. You just see like imp, just flying out of the kitchen and into the city.
Artoria is unhappy about seeing that, but knows it's safe and will protect the people here.
Imp. Gigantic fucking closet. Closet with wings. It stops at the door, turns to you all. Hello. And then turns around and flies off.
Fucking love grits.
Yeah, Prue just kind of like salutes. He leaves.
It's really weird because you know that closets are demons, not infernals.
Well,
And
I'm
yet-
sorry. Could you type that word? Because I think that what is being said is this.
Quasi.
Closet.
Cute.
Oh my god! This whole time I was like, well, that's weird.
I was also. It makes you feel better, Russell. I was also thinking the same thing. It's like a flying wardrobe.
For the record, this is a closet.
I don't like it.
Size to scale.
However, you normally know that they're very tiny creatures and do not have wings. That one, quite large, had wings.
All right.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Looked at you,
I
gave you a salute, said hello, and then left.
New things every day.
Rix was an awesome companion, and no one can tell me otherwise. You watch it fly into the air and then turn into a bat. Just fuck off. Followed by more imp. All of them exiting the door and they're just turning invisible.
Mhm.
Martin looks at you, Prudence. Ah, the power of the people.
Next time we stay at your manor, I might ask on my own.
might what?
Oh, nothing. I'm just thinking out loud.
As you all sit, eat cake, and watch this imps on parade, you complete your ritual, Rustlin.
Okay. So,
And-
question about how this spell works. Do I ask all the questions and then I wait for an
Yes.
answer?
Ask them one at a time.
Okay.
As you breathe in the incense you had to burn for the spell, it fills your nose and your face. Your eyes water a little bit. Smoke. And you open your eyes and you're not in a city. You're not in a bakery. You're alone, standing on a sprawling open plain. You may ask your questions.
All right. Do you know what Scarecrow is? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
As you ask, you get a feeling wash over you of confusion. You take that to be a no. They do not know.
Okay. do you know what is happening with Leviathan?
You blink your eyes, and suddenly the clear blue, cloudless, sunless sky is darkened. You feel rain falling over you. Feel your fur become damp as the rain falls upon you. It's warm. It's not unpleasant. You take it as a yes.
Oh, and I have to. Sorry, 1 second. I have to figure out how to say their name. Is oh, fucking hell, how do I say it?
Turive Asval.
Thank you. Is Turive Viasval on the side of the material plane or the others?
Yes or no?
You feel a wind pick up and sweep behind you. It pushes against your back. You feel the rain impacting you from behind now. You take that as a yes. They are behind you.
Okay. And those were my 3 questions.
You close your eyes, feeling this warmth sort of surround you. You almost feel arms wrap around you, hold you for a moment, and you open your eyes and you're back in the bakery. The incense has burned out.
He'll just take a moment and collect his thoughts.
Everything all right?
Yes. A little more so than before, I suppose. No leads on Scarecrow, but Leviathan and the giants are on our side.
That's a bit
Reassuring.
reassuring. Yeah.
Imp. Imp.
With all that's going on, how am I supposed to tell them? I didn't even fill them in on what nearly dying or the dragon. Oh no. Russell just gonna like kind of cup his hand, his head in his hands, and just kind of lean forward.
Disgusting. But Gregor's gonna walk over to Rosalind and again, not use Mage Hand, but hand on his shoulder, like carefully.
Thank you. You know, I never wanted to be an adventurer. I just wanted to sail with the people I love. This is a lot.
I never planned on coming back from the dead. Seems fate has different plans for all of us.
That it does.
So for the meantime, are we going to just wait around? Or are we going to go out and start hunting?
With Ruslin's, you've communed as you had planned. I believe we're at the point where we should begin the hunt.
Where would we start?
I have absolutely no idea. I was really hoping someone here else would take the reins here.
I was really hoping Eldeth knew.
I hunt beasts that leave tracks. I don't really know about these things.
If they
could-
are hunting after creatures of the hills, I believe Luke said that there are now 50 hellbound souls flying around the skies of Korash.
Out
Go
of
on.
character, I don't understand what was just said.
If we are tracking a creature looking for souls, then perhaps we do not need to hunt as much as we need to observe.
Right.
So you're saying keep an eye on the skies for anything that might be in it. Since we can't see the little friends that are sent to survey.
Arcs, we were given an Artoria will pull out these stones by Luke. So, should one of the imps find anything, we'll know. So be certain you're at least within earshot of one of us. That'll be
And
how we get our information.
If we see this creature, do not charge in immediately. We need to let them know.
Mm,
I don't like it either, Vistara, but they're right. We need to be safe with this. Don't want either of our souls being stolen.
Oh.
Stealed?
I would rather
Stolen.
not. I'd rather not be fuel for the armies of the abyss.
I don't think anybody would want a fate like that.
Certainly not.
I think this is a good place to end the session for the night.
Yeah, I need to brainstorm.
The gang sits and eat cake while we wait.
Hey, Payton. Speaking of characters from the past,
Yeah.
I don't
remember his name. Thorben, yes.
Thorben!
it's an owlbear?
Yes. Thorben was an owlbear cub that we made our best friend.
Oh,
And he was the MVP for all the sessions I was in. He was MVP.
Oh yeah. He started getting Zach didn't want to just have him die and like brutally murder him because it's a companion. Non-magical companions die easily. So he was like,
yeah.
we'll give him the cool companion.
Tell me
levels."
about that. I got
And then we were like,
shadow.
yeah. And we were like, Zach, you sure you want to give an owl bear companion levels? And he was like, yeah. And then we And then we started specking him to like the barbarian companion or the fighter companion or whatever, and he just clapped. Like he could not die, and he killed everything. And it was
He
like
was such a good boy.
Thorman was the best. Riffin rode him at all times because it was the safest place to be on the battlefield.
Speaking of, I found your old token, dude.
Oh, the one where his hand is gone, or the one? Yeah, or about to be gone.
I was so tempted to bring back my dwarf from that game.
Okay.
Well, I think that's enough. I think that's enough D&D for me tonight. Goodbye, internet.
Goodbye.
Thanks for coming.
See ya.
The